how did you choose those investors? Like what was your priority when you were looking for them?
Well, I'd say in the what I was looking for changed kind of like as the company matured too. Um, First of all, fundraising is the hardest thing of any, that's job number one of an entrepreneur, right? Your money is your oxygen. There's no guarantee there'll ever be another dollar coming in the door. Do it really wisely and be very, very blessed to be able to do it successfully. Um, all that being said, though, we were fortunate that we had had two exits or previously in the prior 3 years, one to Yahoo, one to Google. So you kind of had a lot of credibility when you're talking to investors, and you had a lot of investors who are willing to meet with you and showed interest. Um, the reason we chose Google Ventures was it was a brand new venture fund. I knew the guys who had started it, Rich Miner, Wesley Chan, Bill Maris, David Crane. I liked them all. Um, and I was their EIR. So it was just kind of understood that they would be the investor for the Series A. Um, but the other thing on top of that, though, they had a really great process of helping you work through your ideas. Like they had designers and UX folks and people who would prototype things for you before you even had that capability on your own team, which I thought was just genius. When we did our Series B and kind of like had built our first product, which was Uber Conference, and when TechCrunch Disrupt with that product, there was a lot of interest. And then we were going, okay, well, let's go talk to like the real of the Silicon Valley and all the tier one names you could imagine. And I walked into the meeting at Andreessen Horowitz, and you're meeting with Marc Andreessen, who at the time was on the board of Skype, if I recall, or had just left the board of Skype. So he understood the space. And you're like, okay, this guy is brilliant. Like, I'm not meeting with the underlings. I'm meeting with the guy whose name's on the door. Oh, and by the way, who invented the browser that made the internet work or useful. Um, and then, but we were talking to some other tier one folks who were obviously similarly very impressive. I get a call from like within the next day, I got a call from our our kind of like liaison at Andreessen Horowitz, was this guy Blake Krikorian. He was founder of Sling, um, and he was kind of like a special limited partner there, and he worked with other funds too. And he had been in the meeting at A16Z, and he's like, "Hey, it's Thursday night. They'd love to meet with you." And I was at some telecom conference down in Pebble Beach, and I'm like, "Look, I just got down to freaking Pebble Beach. Like, we're teeing off at 10 in the morning. We have a dinner tonight until 10 at night." He's like, "The partners will meet you at 7 a.m. in the office at Menlo Park tomorrow. You're out at 8. You can make your 10 o'clock tea time. Can you be there tomorrow morning?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can totally do it." So I wake up at 4:30, get on the road by 5, get to Menlo Park by 7, pull in. The parking lot's full of, I walk into the partner meeting at Andreessen Horowitz. It's like 16 partners at the table, everyone you've heard of. You do your pitch, have your conversation, do the thing. I leave at 8, and then we get a term sheet, I think, the next day or that night or something. I'm just like, wow, that's impressive. These guys are all radically successful people, and still they're working really hard to make this new startup they're in, this venture fund, radically differentiated and show how much care, and like they're super in it. And when I saw that, I'm like, okay, these are the guys I want to work with. So they really impressed me, and Marc really impressed me, and has been on our board for a long time. And then as we got more and more mature, it was like Iconiq Capital has been like our big investor lately, and then Omer's, which is a pension fund out of Toronto. The reasons that I loved about them is they just take a long-term view of investing. And we had term sheets from others and other late stage investors, and I won't name them, but one of them specifically said, "Look, we're a late stage investor, and it's a well-known fund. It's like, our goal is to hold it for no more than 5 years and to, at least triple our outcome. And that's kind of like success. That's what we're looking for." I'm like, wow, that's affirmatively the opposite of what I'm looking for. Like I'm like this is $100 billion TAM. This isn't like an overnight we're going to triple it thing. This is like, let's put in the foundation to build a company that could literally be massive for a long time and be disruptive in this massive market for a long time. Not like let's financially engineer, like do some short-term things to make a quick exit. So Iconiq, Will Griffith from Iconic's on our board. He's awesome. They're in every great B2B SaaS company, basically, and they take a very long-term view of investing. And so that's been fantastic. And then the OMERS, which is the pension fund, Ontario Municipal Employee Retirement System, is same thing. And it's a long term. They're looking for quality investments. These are pension dollars of nurses and doctors and school teachers and firemen and stuff like that. It's like great. Like these aren't telecom or communications is so big. This isn't a race to the next hurdle. This is literally like, let's go disrupt this. Let's go challenge these large legacy folks who have all these, legacy mindset, but they do have a ton of market share to go after. And it's not an overnight thing. So I really was interested in our later investors having that long-term view.